What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 2am Sweden. I'm one of your hosts of the show, Hayes at AO Shifty, with the one, the only Mike T himself, Steven at Steven_Springs. Steven, how's life going? Congratulations on the Pistons still being number one in the East. Fuck the Jags. How's life?
Things are good. I got bad news and I got more bad news.
Shit.
Bad news is my kids are sick.
Jesus.
Even more bad news is that I'm already getting sick.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time before I text Christian on a Tuesday or a Wednesday at like 6, be like, yo, I'm out tonight. I'm too sick. So it's only a matter of time until I'm on the IR for at least 3 weeks.
Dog. Oh, so you brought that up. Do we want to make that official for everyone that we're switching the days?
Yeah, I think Wednesdays would probably be the best day.
Yeah.
Because I mean Thursdays, it's good, but sometimes the boys got things to do on Thursday nights because it's basically the weekend. So I think Wednesday, going back to the OG day. I think Tuesday, Mason the soccer until 8:15, and your boy doesn't really want to come home, do all that, do bedtime, and then hop on with you jabronis, and have people screaming at me in the chat. So I don't want to deal with that on Tuesdays. So Wednesdays I think will be the best day for me.
Okay. Yeah. So
Wednesday,
for everyone that
8:30.
Yep. So it'll be Wednesday 8:30 because I know a lot of you start to listen to it live, and then you'll end up listening to the playback. I can look at some of the top ones that we had even last week. A big thing was, what was the reason for the Ravens firing John Harbaugh? So that video on the Ravens defense was over 1,000 views. And then when we talked about Caleb Williams, him not throwing to DJ Moore, that had 1,500 views, even going back. Oh, that's what we'll bring up as well. So Myles Garrett, that was one of the things when Steven was talking about the sack record. That almost had 2,000 views on it. And they were like, so can you get a sack?
Real quick. Are we going to talk about Lynn Jones?
No, you can bring that up.
Do you know who Lynn Jones is? You're obviously familiar with it, right?
Yeah.
With the Jags.
Not as familiar as you.
Right.
Huh?
No.
Yeah.
Trust me, no one is. We can when we start talking about the NFL, we can discuss that then. Okay. I did actually have a life update for me personally.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Your boy is now starting to work with a nutritionist.
I've done that. That's good. I'm listening.
On the regular now. One of our friends, she lives in our neighborhood. Just trying to figure out what the boy's eating. Trying to figure out how much of what I got to eat, when I got to eat it, protein, the macros. Not gonna be crazy about it and write it all down, but at least just get a sense of it and try and make that happen. So, we're not gonna follow this journey like we are Mason's Olympic dream, but it'll be discussed once I get going with it, and once I have a meal plan and all that kind of stuff. We'll dive back into this. So, we'll see how that goes. We'll see what the traction is on that.
Yeah. So shout out to that. I'm laughing a little bit because we got on Jeff because he's gluten free. So he stopped eating McDonald's.
That's why.
Yeah.
Word. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. So no more of that. So it's interesting that Steven started with the nutritionist. I had a nutritionist, had to stop because they'd be showing up 15 to 20 minutes late to the appointment. So at that point, it's like, it makes no sense for me to end up using you anymore. So I don't use one. So kudos to Steven for that. And Steven can probably go visit his nutritionist, whereas mine was virtual. So I could lie to them. Like I told them one time I ate Jamaican beef patties a whole week, and they're like, well, it's okay to have it in moderation. Just end up having this as well. That's not really what I need to hear. So just for everyone out there that doesn't know the rundown for today. So we're going to end up talking a little bit about baseball because another big thing happened with Under Armour. So I do want to touch on that. We talked about Steph Curry before, but there's another one that's about to leave Under Armour. So that'll be important. Another thing is the college football playoffs. We do want to dive into just to talk about that as everything that's going on. I've talked to various different people when it came to LSU, so we'll bring up that side of the things. John Morant and Trae Young are two different conversations we have to have today. And then, of course, on the NFL side, we do have to talk about the NFL playoffs. Fuck the Jags. We have to talk about our Super Bowl thoughts and predictions on that side. And then I have a couple of things I want to talk about in the real life world, personal side, because a lot of things have happened in the world. And of course, the people that I work with are asking me a concern. So just diving straight into everything. I'll start with the baseball so we can get out the way, but we can discuss it. Bryce Harper's contract with Under Armour is essentially about to be over. So they don't foresee him necessarily going back to Under Armour, which will be their second major player that they've lost. Your thoughts, especially since we're both right around the corner, you especially right around the corner from Under Armour. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, being someone who's not an Under Armour guy, it's good to see the competition dwindle. Being a Nike guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously a strategy behind it. There has to be when you're losing guys like that. You have to have someone in the pipeline. Whether or not that person is like right behind them is one thing, or whether or not they're somewhere in the pipeline. I do have a good buddy of mine that lives in my neighborhood. That's also a Penn State guy. Works for Under Armour. He's pretty big time there, so I'll get his sense of things. He I was talking to him about the Steph Curry news when that broke, what, like a month and a half ago, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure this will be talked about as well. Maybe not as much because it's baseball and it's not Steph Curry, but nonetheless, Bryce Harper is a huge name. And obviously, he was in DC, he was right down the street. So that played a factor in his Under Armour deal. And he was obviously the next big thing in terms of like the next great sports figure. So I mean, shout them. He's probably gonna go do his own thing. I don't know how old Bryce Harper is, but he's in his early to mid 30s, I'd imagine, right? Because he's been doing it for a minute. So yeah, good for him. He'll probably go do his own thing, start his own brand, like maybe Curry will. But
33.
Hate to see that if you're Under Armour. He's 33.
Yep.
Oh, he's still got a handful more years left. But again, he's getting older. Yeah, he's getting older. In terms of sports, they say an athlete's prime is 28 to 32. So, damn, your boy's outside that window now. Damn, I turn 34 next month. That's sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, good for Bryce Harper to do that now and start going do his own thing.
Yeah. So good on that side. The next part I want to end up bringing up is the NBA side of the house. Number one, this is probably the first person I've ever heard that is asked to be traded to this team, and the Washington Wizards got Trae Young. So they traded for Trae Young, CJ McCollum, and Corey Kispert. It's essentially expiring contracts. That's partially how they did it. And then they had to figure out a way to make the money work. Corey Kispert is a three-point shooter for anyone that watched the Wizards. That was mainly his main thing. And then also CJ McCollum can now become their main go-to player in the clutch, because that's really what CJ McCollum likes to do. CJ McCollum's like third team. He was on the Trailblazers, he was on the Pelicans, and then now he was on the Wizards and now the Hawks. So when it gets to that point, it's only one of two things. You're on the back end of your career, or you're just that journeyman that's trying to figure it out. As for the Wizards side of the house, my initial thought, people are asking me this, I don't know if they're going to play Trae Young every single game, because they still would want to get a good pick, and you don't want to sacrifice any of that by playing Trae Young. But on the other side, it can help bring in a fan base that wasn't necessarily there for the Wizards. If you think that you're going to get defense, Trae Young's defense is basically as good as Luka Doncic's defense. So don't expect to see a lot of defense. But what are your thoughts on the trade, since this is our hometown team?
Your hometown team. The Blazers, going back to them, they're one of those teams in sports that's like, wow, what could have been? They would have had a healthy Greg Oden for X amount of years. They would have had a healthy LaMarcus Aldridge for X amount of years. Brandon Roy, Aldridge got traded. Dame, let him go. Obviously, it was later. CJ, they had some dudes. This trade does nothing for me. No. It does nothing for anybody, honestly. Like, if this was 3-4 years ago, yeah, it probably has a little bit more of a ripple effect, or like it's kind of like, oh, okay, shit, that's cool, that's a big one. Yeah. Now, when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, like whatever, like sick, dude. Trae Young's going to Washington. Honestly, I forgot about it till you said it.
Yeah,
that's kind of where those two guys are at, and the franchises that they were at are the Hawks. I guess they're relevant technically because they're making the playoffs, but like they're not getting anywhere in the playoffs. And then the Wizards are just, but
yeah,
so,
yeah.
whatever. I mean, again, 5 years, 3 years ago, this trade's like, oh, okay, wow, that's a big one. Now it's like, I forgot about it.
It's
So you
just
said it, like
there.
I said. So it's just another trade,
Yeah.
which is sad.
So then,
Both those guys are nice. Like those guys were not faces of the league, more so probably Trae Young because of who he was coming out of college, and he had the whole Steph Curry thing, shooting from range and just pulling up and doing all that stuff.
yeah,
CJ was just like a bucket getter. But it was him and Dame. So both those guys had a little bit of a run with them. Probably again more so Trae, but now they're just like they're getting close to an afterthought.
yeah,
Which is a shame.
yeah, and that's what ends up happening. The next person that's been a big topic of conversation is John Morant. So his time absolutely is done in Memphis. But then the other thing is it's super light talks at this point, but there have been talks that the Pelicans and the Grizzlies are the two teams that you can end up seeing in the next 3 to 5 years that are not a franchise in that specific city and they go to another city. But John Morant, some of the teams that they've been bringing up are Minnesota and then also Miami and Sacramento. Do you see him going to any of those different franchises? And also, what are your thoughts just in general of him being in the trade conversation?
I mean, look, if you're going to get him, you have to. He's just one of those guys now where it's like you have to sit him down and bring him in and be like, look, dude, stop with the bullshit. Stop pointing fake guns at people. Stop with the celebration. Stop hanging out with those people. Because, like, he can be like an MVP candidate. He was. Like, he's one of the, when he was before he got in, I guess, in trouble, you won't call it. He was heading towards the face of the league or one of those conversation guys. He was the most exciting player in the league on a really good team. And then he had the off the court stuff, and it's like, bro, if you're gonna we're gonna bring you in because we know you can change the franchise and you can take us pretty far in the playoffs if we get some pieces around you, but you're gonna be the guy. We got to quit the bullshit out. We had this conversation on the show multiple times over the years. Like, stop doing stupid shit.
Yep.
Stop.
That's all you guys.
Stop doing stupid shit, man. Stop like fake pointing guns when you know that's target on your back, no pun intended. But stop doing that shit. Like, it makes everything look bad. It already looks bad for John Morant as well, right? It doesn't look good. Like, no, who wants to deal with that? That's the thing. What franchise wants to deal with that? You can talk to him, and he's talked to coaches, Commissioner Adam Silver. He talked to these guys, and you know what? He does it again. Like, stop doing stupid shit. So if he can, get back to John Morant, I would trade for him. Any team would trade for him because he's 28 points a game guy. But stop with the bullshit.
Yeah. So I would have to agree, say the same exact things as what you said. Jaw just needs, I would say, a reset, but then they've tried coaches. You see the team that they end up having. It's just one of those organizations where, is that really the place where a lot of these people are supposed to go? Memphis. You expect him to be there. So the next team that they're saying, oh, he might end up going to, Miami. I don't know if Miami's really your best destination for him. It can be, but also, who are you trading? They're then saying it's going to be Davion Mitchell and then Tyler Hero and those type of players that you're going to have to give up for a cap space and whatnot.
It's a lot more than that.
Yeah. Does it then mess up how the whole team is going? You're not trading Nolan Powell. You're not trading Bam Adebayo. So then what are you going to do in that? And also, are you just doing this for a year or are you trying to do it for a little more time? So it's what I will say before we go on to the next two names is the NBA that we know now is very different than the NBA from before, whereas a lot of these players stayed on that team for a long time, or even LeBron stayed with Cleveland for a minute, stayed on Miami for a minute. If something's not working out within a couple of years, you just want to get out. And that goes into the next one of Jonathan Kuminga, who just ended up essentially verbally saying he doesn't want to be there anymore, demands a trade, but he just signed a contract.
Like, there's levels to the shit of like who can demand a trade and who cannot demand a trade.
Yeah.
I don't think Kuminga cannot demand a trade from the Warriors. He's not there. No. Like, you're not that guy, dude. Not that guy. He's nice, but like, not that guy. If he was, he would have been traded by now.
Yeah.
You know, right? These guys,
yep. Oh gosh. So going into the next one is apparently trade talk is going around Michael Porter Jr.
No, I'm not even talking about that. You can do it. I'm not talking about him.
So first off, Brooklyn paid him this money. He was a part of the trade. because they end up sending Cam Johnson to the Nuggets, and then they end up getting Michael Porter Jr. for you to just potentially trade him. They're saying Michael Porter Jr. or Cam Thomas, one of the two are going to be gone from there. It just sucks because Brooklyn only had maybe a 1 to 3 year window. They had two different times when they had the old big three, when like KG and like Paul Pierce and them were there, but then also they had Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant. Nothing could just happen. So now you have nobody right now, respectfully. I know these players do a lot of work, they get paid a lot, but none of them of substance that's going to move the needle. And then you have New York Knicks, who are legit a couple of subways away, that are doing so much better over there. But you would have thought Brooklyn is really the more marketable name of the two. Like when you think of everything, it's like, oh, Brooklyn should have stood out. You had this big time owner, you had everything going right for you, and it didn't. New York is still the team and place to end up being. But I'll bring up the topic that Steven will want to end up bringing up is Anthony Davis getting injured again. And his trade value going down, but they're expecting him to still be able to sign a contract somewhere. What are your thoughts on that? I personally think the Lakers won in this trade now, hands down.
Man, it sucks. You know, he's one of those guys, and people are going to clown him because of all the injuries. They don't clown other guys for getting hurt as much as they do. They only clown Anthony Davis. But I mean, look, I said a long time ago that this dude could be a top 3 player in the league because of what he can do offensively and what he can do defensively. I thought for a minute, like when he at the end of his Pelicans run and then going to the Lakers, I thought the Lakers had the 2 best players in the league, him and LeBron. And again, what he can do defensively, he guard all 5 positions. We all know he's an incredible defensive player, shot blocker. He should have been defensive player of the year a couple times. All NBA guy. He can drop 50 and 20. You know, he's done 40. He can do that. He's super efficient. Doesn't shoot the outside shot. Doesn't shoot the 3 as well. But like a couple steps inside the 3, man, he's lethal. That the fadeaway. You know, he was a complete player, and he was averaging like probably 4 assists a game. You know, and he was a complete player. People clown him because of all the injuries, and I get it. But it sucks though. He's one of those guys where I hope we talk about Anthony Davis in 20 years, 30 years, like we do Grant Hill, like we do other guys who got hurt, like we do I hope we talk about him like we talk about those kind of guys, the Tracy McGrays of the world. Like I hope we talk about him because AD was probably way better than them, like all around, and he was on a much higher trajectory than those guys were. So it sucks that he's out. Like it's just like, damn, bro, come on. I thought going to Dallas, he was really gonna be able to show out, but his first game, I think he had like 25 and 15 or something like that. Something crazy. He got hurt.
It looked good in the beginning. Like, you really would have thought.
Yep. He was injured with the Lakers. So it sucks, but I just hope we appreciate Anthony Davis in, 15, 20, 25 years.
Yeah. So those are the main 4 to 5 guys that we wanted to end up talking about on that side. A name that they're circling around, I don't really even know where it's going to go. Lonzo Ball. They're saying he could be in the trade conversation as well.
No, next.
So that's everything on the NBA side of things. We'll go to the college football side because if I was watching it, I'm assuming you were watching it. What were your thoughts on the Indiana game and how they end up essentially dismantling Oregon, and then looking at the Miami game on that side?
Yeah, I did not see that coming, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you my thoughts, and I need to say this out loud. I just didn't see it coming. The
way they did that.
I mean, look, the way they just took care of Oregon is impressive. I wanted Ole Miss to win, just to kind of shove it in Lane Kiffin's face, who obviously we'll talk about. But I wanted them to win. Trinidad Chambliss is probably one of the coolest names in the game. So I want to see him do it. But Miami's real deal, dude. Miami's pretty legit. Going back home. Only reason why I want to see Miami win is because I want to see Michael Irvin, as you do Michael Irvin things. And we don't need it. We'll have a separate show based for Michael Irvin. If they win, we'll have a whole segment dedicated to him. But Indiana's rolling, dude. I just don't see anyone beating them. Like I said that about Ohio State, but with everything, like I've been a Big Ten fan. I've been in the Big Ten my entire life as a Penn State fan. And if you're not like a Big Ten person and haven't been following the conference for as long as I have, but like you at least know, and people know how like straight up ass Indiana has been up until about 2 years ago before Signetti got there. They had the most losses of all time, bro. Of all time.
Yeah.
You were walking in there with the automatic W every time. Like I mean, Penn State lost to Indiana over the years, obviously, but like you looked at the schedule and you never gave a shit about Indiana. Never.
Yep.
They never had, they had Antoine Randall. They had a couple guys, Tevin Coleman, I think, with Indiana. They had a couple guys over the years. They've had some like decent players, but I hand to God, dude, if you would have told me that, or if anybody would have told me that Indiana was going to be the number one team in the country heading into the national title game in 2026, head into 2025, 2026 season, Indiana was going to be the number one team in the country. They'd be playing the national title game. They were going to be 15-0, potentially going 16-0, and they had the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. I would have never believed you at all. I mean, you got to give Signetti credit. I think they're cheating, but that's a whole other topic. You got to give credit to Signetti. You got to give credit where credit is due. They're whooping everybody's ass along the way, and it's very impressive. Now, if they win, we'll have a segment on where they rank all time because it's not as high as people want to think. They're not beating Joe Burrow's LSU team. They're not beating the Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Lendell White USC teams. Hell, I don't know if they even beat Trevor Lawrence and Clemson when they won it. They're not beating Miami from back in the day. Like they're not beating those teams. But this is an incredible, probably the most impressive turnaround in sports that we've seen maybe in our lifetime, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Again, like if you know the Big Ten, you know how it dude. They were so bad for so many years. So good for them, man. Good for the fan base. I mean, shout out. Again, I think they're cheating, but we'll talk about that later. I think they're gonna win. They're favored by 8.5 right now. I think they're gonna win, and honestly, I think they're gonna win pretty comfortably. I hope not. I hope it's a great game. And it's not a blowout like Indiana's last couple games have been. But I do hope it's a good game. But I think Indiana wins.
Over under is 47.5, and then the money line is minus 350 for Indiana, plus 280 for Miami. If I'm being real, at the rate this is going, I would take the over at 47.5
for sure.
And I'm saying that because
very low.
Indiana did it on their own. Like Indiana did that just alone. Miami's going to put up at least 2 touchdowns at that point. The running back alone can do that.
Bro, if Indiana, I swear to God, dude, if Indiana wins a national championship before Penn State does, which I think they're going to, I don't know. It's very hurtful. It's very hurtful. Like Fernando Mendoza. First of all, and we'll talk about this once the draft gets closer. No chance.
That's why Dante Moore came back.
Nope. I don't know if that's a good choice by Dante Moore because his stock probably could not be literally any higher because he's projected to be the number one pick in the draft. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess just fine tuning things and just hanging out in Eugene, Oregon, and
they say he didn't want the Jets.
Well, yeah, who does? Next year's crop of Drew Aller's coming out this year. Kate Klubnik. We'll talk about. I mean, next year it's Jeremiah Smith and then everybody else, get in line. So we'll talk about all that later on. But I guess shout out to Indiana.
Shout out.
Again, they're cheating. I know they are. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna pull Connor Stallions and figure this shit out. But whatever, dude.
So, I'll go with. That's what I was gonna say. I want Miami, just based off of one thing and one thing only. But if Indiana wins, I'm not gonna be mad. Like Kirk Cinetti, this man JMU to come in there. So me personally, I can't be mad on it. And the turnaround that's happened with that is big. The other part I want to bring up, we're done with the championship game. I want to talk about what the hell my guy that Steven just brought up, Lane Kiffin's doing, because he just signed Sam Levitt as well. Yeah. So homie is just bringing everybody down to the swamp at this point. What type of team do you think we're even going to see out of LSU?
Explosive, electric. It's like it's gonna be the same thing that Lane Kiffin's been at every stop, or as a coordinator, head coach, whatever. Just a ton of yards. They might give up a ton of points, but they'll put up a ton of points and ton of yards. So yeah, LSU's they're back. Look, I got nothing against Lane Kiffin. I get why people hate him. Like for sure, dude, for sure. It's very easy to hate that kind of person. But like, I don't know. If he was Penn State's head coach, like he misses out on the big games too. So you gotta give him a little bit of shit for that. But like, I don't have any problem with him. Honestly, it's who he is.
Yeah,
he's just that guy. And if like you accept that, you accept him as a person like that. Shit, dude, I don't want him coaching my team for sure. He brings in all the talent. He brings in all the talent. He brings in the quarterbacks, dude. Trinidad Chambliss, like all these guys are transferring. Penn State's number one wide receiver last year went off against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Harrison Wallace. He brings in guys because like who the hell would not want to go play in Oxford, now Baton Rouge, where you're gonna the NFL scouts, everyone knows that you play for Lane Kiffin. So there's a ton of benefits for playing for Lane Kiffin, and like he wins. So if he just brings in a couple pieces that he hasn't had over the years, there's no reason to say he won't finally get one. But I got no problem with him. I hope he does well. I mean, shit, dude. Like it's good for the sport when guys like that are doing well. It's good for the sport when teams like LSU and when Death Valley is fucking rocking on a Saturday night. It's great for the sport, and the sport needs those kind of things right now more than anything. The sport does not need Indiana winning a national title. They need LSU winning a national title.
No, I agree. You're 100% correct, because from that marketability standpoint, you want your big name teams to win them. Like you want to see LSU, you 100%. Want the USC to end up winning. You want Ohio State if they can keep doing it. You want Alabama. So LSU, for anyone that doesn't understand the context, if I were to compare it in different sports, LSU is on a similar playing field as like the Dallas Cowboys or the Los Angeles Lakers or like Manchester City and Manchester United for like football time of things. It's the teams that you don't know anything about college football or college sports. You know that Tiger, you know the Swamp, you know the purple and yellow. That's what you will know. And then everything after that.
And they have a lineage of players that have come through. They have they just had a Heisman Trophy winner, Jane Daniels.
Exactly.
Tyrann Mathieu. They've had all these guys come through. Leonard Fournette over the years. So like it's there, and they've done it. So it's good for the sport when a school like that is doing very well. Any team for the SEC, honestly, like it just brings eyeballs. No matter, people can say what they want about SEC versus Big Ten. I get it, but like it's good for the sport when that conference is doing very well.
Yeah. So again, Steve and I will dive damn near into a lot of this once the college football championship is over, because we'll have all the time in the world to talk about the different players that have signed, transferred, are going to the league. I'll take the time to dive into a lot of these different NIL deals, because Dante Moore's deal, stupid. Sam Levitt's deal, stupid. Texas Tech's new quarterback, stupid. Like all these different deals. You can even be a backup. Dylan Raiola is paid to be a backup. Only in sports are you going to be able to make that much money, and you don't even have to do shit for a year. Like he knows he's not doing anything for a year. He could go back to Nebraska and could have started or gone somewhere else, started, but he was like,
I'm not going though.
Get in the money. Exactly. Just in Eugene, Oregon. So that's something we'll dive into. I want to go into some of the big talk. And that's the Virginia Tech game. Before we go over to NFL. So Virginia Tech canceled their game against James Madison. Number one, do you have any thoughts, anything of interest that you want to bring up in terms of that?
I mean, look who the coach at Virginia Tech is.
Yeah.
Right. I get it because they're playing more conference games now in the ACC, but like, they're paying them. They're paying them $800,000 to not play them.
To not play. I know.
Which is, again, only in sports.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, would have been a good game for sure. But Virginia Tech does play ODU down in Blacksburg next year. I think that is their final non-conference game of the season. So that'd be cool trip maybe to make. But shout out to ODU finally, right?
Oh my God! See, here we go.
Here we go. But yeah, I mean, I the only reason why I really know about what's going on with it is because of James Franklin.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah. So the Virginia Tech against ODU game is going to
Hold
be
on.
September
I'll be
3rd.
back.
All right. Virginia Tech against ODU game is going to be September 13th. That is definitely a game that we will make the trip up for. We'll just confirm all the logistics. There's so many different facets that just go into this. One of my good friends, his nephew is running back for Virginia Tech. That's one thing. James Franklin is there. That's two. ODU, clearly we talk about this all the time. I went there. So, of course, there's many different things. Blacksburg is one of those places that uh, me personally, I didn't spend a lot of time in Blacksburg. I spend a lot more time on the Radford side, which is like an hour away from Blacksburg, but in the dark, you don't really know how far it is. So all over there, it's one of those things that definitely will have to make a trip for. So we'll keep you guys up to date on that. Another place that I definitely want to check out to see if we can swing it. I would want to do LSU this year, especially with everything, or maybe a year after that. But again, we have all those. Missouri's another one down the line we might have to think about. I'll tell you guys why I said that later on. But that's the first thing on that side. Next thing I want to dive into now is the NFL. Before we get started with any of this, I will and continue to always say, fuck the Jags, because they lost. That was one thing that anybody listen to anything I said. I know I say a lot of shit on the show. I know Steven says a lot of stuff, but the one thing I have always said from the beginning, the Bills were going to take care of that. It didn't really matter how it was going to shape out. But again, and I tell everybody this is probably the Bills' one chance. Like, you get that one shot, and what are you going to do with it? So for them to end up saying that, good job, Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. But now you have your next test, and we'll dive into all the games, and we'll bring back everything else. First one is the Bills and the Broncos.
I'm going to go with the Bills.
Okay.
I think when we talk about the playoffs, it's experience matters, right? And I know Sean Payton has experience, obviously, been there, done that, won the Super Bowl. But coach can only do so much, and you're going to rely on Bo Nix to make 4, 5, 6 throws a game. I say that about every quarterback, no matter what level. You got to make a handful of throws, a handful of big plays a game. Now, look at Caleb Williams' stat line from last week. Perfect example. Was not great whatsoever. But you know what? He made the throws when he needed to make throws. That's all that matters. So Bo Nix can go 11. He can go 4 of 20 for 100 yards. But if those 4 throws are difference makers, that's what matters. Does not all that matters that you win. Nothing else matters. We can just stop right there. Nothing else matters. But I think Buffalo has experience. I know Josh Allen, his playoff road record is not great, but I think he's going to make more plays than Bo Nix. I think it'll be actually over under 45.5.
I would go with the under.
I think it's going to be close. I think the Bills win, though. I think the Bills win a close one.
Yeah. So I have the Bills in that.
By the way, $383 low ticket price.
Really? For the Broncos and Bills?
Yeah.
Well, when we start to dive into some of these other games, you'll end up saying maybe we should appreciate those ticket prices. Because the 49ers and Seahawks, who do you have?
I don't really care about Fred Warner playing or not. I don't think he is from what I just saw.
I don't like when they do this. Just leave them, let them rest another game. If you guys get past it, then play them. If not, cool.
Right. That's tough.
It's a tough game.
It's a night game. It's gonna be a night game out in Seattle. Obviously, we know what that place is like at night. The playoffs, number 1 seed. It's been a minute since Seahawks have been right there. I'm gonna go. Shit.
This is probably one of the toughest games.
I'm gonna go with the Niners.
Okay.
No. I gotta stay true to the homie. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
See, now I want to change my pick.
I'm not gonna be the surprise if the Niners win. I'll say that.
It's NFC West, so anything can happen.
And we know what the history is of this game in the playoffs.
Yeah. The first thing that I will end up saying, so with the 49ers, they don't have George Kittle, which sucks. Torn Achilles. Again, Steven and I have seen it time and time again, so we know exactly when that Achilles injury happens. On the other side, Sam Darnold is injured, oblique injury. Don't listen to anything that's happening. I don't give a damn what happens. Those trainers, doctors, everyone's saying you're playing. Like, we got this far, so you're going to play. He has something he needs to prove because the Minnesota Vikings, look at what happened to them last year. So he has something he has to prove with this. If the Seahawks can get past this game, and if they could win another game after that, Sam Darnold's going to get paid handsome money. That's crazy. The first thing I will say. Crazy. Stupid money. And that's another thing. We talk about Indiana, their turnaround. Sam Darnold's turnaround from the New York Jets to the Seattle Seahawks.
Good for him, dude. Good for him.
Good for him. Yeah. I'm going with the Seahawks, but you can't put anything past Kyle Shanahan. That's the part that people need to understand. Chris McCaffrey does want to get back to the Super Bowl.
Just gonna say, McCaffrey, if they're gonna win this game, it's gonna be McCaffrey and not Brock Purdy. But again, Purdy's got to make some throws.
Yeah, notice how we don't say Brock Purdy. It's really Christian McCaffrey. You know he's going to get at least a receiving touchdown. You know he's going to get some sort of stuff out the backfield. I do want to bring up the game last week with the 49ers and the Eagles because the Eagles defense do have some holes in it. They were on the field a long time, but what I do want to bring up is Juwan Jennings threw a pass to Christian McCaffrey. You didn't think to still just stay on Christian McCaffrey. Right. Regardless of what happened.
Right.
And it was a quarterback looking throw. Juwan Jennings did play quarterback for anyone that didn't know in high school. Then he ended up had to converting to wide receiver at Tennessee. So he does have the experience, but the way he laid the ball out that only Christian McCaffrey could get to it was impressive. End up seeing. I'm saying all that to say I'm going with the Seahawks. The next game might be one of the easier ones from my perspective, Texans and Patriots.
I'm going to go with the Pats.
But Texans have a good defense.
I don't want to. I'm going to go with the Pats. This might be, man, these are all very solid quarterback matchups, but this might be number one or number two in terms of the quarterback matchup between CJ Stroud and Drake May. Two young guys, both franchise quarterbacks. Yeah. I think the game after that, the Rams and the Bears are probably my favorite quarterback matchup. But I'm gonna go with the Pats again. I think it's gonna be a close one. It's a lot tougher, a lot closer than people are gonna think. What the Texans did to the Steelers was impressive. I know the Steelers are ass, and we'll get to that in a minute. But like what they did to the Steelers was very impressive. I said if the Texans could do what the Browns did to Aaron Rodgers, he was gonna have a chance. If they were more like the Ravens, the Steelers could probably win that game, but they got after him a ton. And my man had no time to throw. He couldn't do shit down the field. So, I think the Texans, they can win this game, but I think the Pats win at home.
Steven, I'll be completely honest with you. The Texans should have lost that game. Everything in that game should have been the Steelers. Yeah,
everything went the other way.
The fact that this man had 3 to 4 fumbles, and you just saw how the ball was fumbled. And so what happened is I was up watching the game, but then it was like fumble after fumble after fumble. So I was like, I'm going to sleep. I'm thinking the Steelers are going to win this. You wake up and it's 30-6. And you're like, where did these points come from?
And the crazy part is all those fumbles were 2 of them were in the Steelers territory.
Yeah, exactly.
And they couldn't do shit with it. And it's like, damn.
Nope.
Hate to see that.
Yeah. So final game. Well, I have the Patriots in that one, in case anyone was wondering. Final game, Rams, Bears.
Man, another one, dude. Another one.
Yeah.
I know I said experience matters, and Stafford is the only guy that's been there, done that. But I don't know. Bears got some magic. It's at home. Soldier Field.
You saw that field?
It's gonna be rocking, dude. Absolutely. That was a wild comeback that they had. Wild comeback. Again, Caleb Williams' stat line was not that great, but he made the throws when he needed to make it. He's got something going on. That team's got something going on. McVay is a nut job and a smart dude. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Okay.
I that one's not a lot of confidence points, but again, been there, done that. Not sure the Bears have an answer for Puka Nacua and not Sam Bradford. Matthew Stafford. There you go. Jeez. Because that I'm dropping on that one for a hot second. My bad.
Yeah.
That's they're cooking right now. They almost got beat by the Panthers, which was Shout out to the Panthers.
Let's not. Yeah, I don't know how that's possible.
That's crazy. But I think the Bears can win this game. But I think again, playoff experience matters, and Stafford's been there, done that. So I'm gonna go with the Rams.
I'm going with the Rams, and this is going to become an NFC West matchup for who ends up going to the Super Bowl. The Bears do have a chance, but they should have lost to the Packers. The Packers are just some shit. I don't know how you give up a game like that. And they said the last time defeat like that happened after being up so much was when the Falcons did it against the Patriots. And you know who was on that team? Matt LaFleur. Go figure. So that's all we'll end up saying on that side. John Harbaugh it's almost officially done, but John Harbaugh is going to be the next coach of the New York Giants. $100 million, 5 years. So got paid stupid money. Only in sports can you get fired from one team. They still got to pay you, and then you go into another team, and then you're going to end up getting $20 million a year, basically.
So wild, dude.
And they're just believing that he can do what he just did.
Sure.
He has a great trio. Yep. I'm not going to lie. You have in Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, and also Malik Neighbors. On the front side is good. Abdul Carter on the backside, great. You have good pieces to start with, and then you have draft picks.
Yep.
So you can end up doing something on that side. I do want to give you a couple minutes to bring up your famous topic you want to talk about, Lynn Jones.
Okay. So as you know,
yep, you know where this is going.
Hang on. Certain things just piss me off so much, and I don't usually let things get to me. But if I see it, obviously, as you know, I'm gonna go after it. I'm gonna get it, especially on the Twitter world. And I don't take any of it seriously. People do, but I don't. It's just a big troll thing, big troll job. But this one got me. Lynn Jones is a beat reporter for the Jags. I know we say fuck the Jags all the time, but right now we're not doing that. No. This is serious. Shout out to Lynn Jones. She's maybe I'll say that for the end. Lynn Jones has been a beat reporter for the Jags almost as long as Christian and I have been alive.
Yeah,
been doing it for a minute, and if you know the Jags history, there's not much there. So she's been doing it, grinding for the Jags. So after the game on Sunday against the Bills, she took 19 seconds to essentially congratulate. I don't know what she said. Congratulate Liam Cohen, the Jags head coach, on a great season. She said, keep your head up, like basically telling him, like, you're the guy. This isn't it. Like, great season, but we'll be back. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was it, dog.
I know.
You would have thought this woman was on the operating table asking him for a kidney in real time. Like, you would have thought she sent the profession back 30 years, back to the Stone Age. Now, I was someone, I went to school for journalism. I was a journalism major. I know a lot of people in the industry. I know kids I graduated with. So trust me, I understand what they do. I understand how hard it is sometimes. I understand it's tough to work your way up. It's tough. Trust me, it is. However, a lot of those people, because they have a laminated ID and a laminated badge to go into press rooms, they walk around with a holier than thou complex that you will not believe. Like what she did, like what she said, when she said it, there was not a single thing wrong with it. They were getting on, bro. You would have thought that this woman completely derailed the entire press conference and gave him the bird and said, "Fuck you, dude." Like, no, she said she showed like a human side of things that people just don't like for whatever reason. People just don't like people being nice to other people, which is crazy. But people were ragging on her because they were like, this is not the time or place. You can do that before the press conference, after the press conference, send them an email, whatever. Like, shut up. Like, shut up.
I know.
Dude.
I know.
Shut
she didn't do anything wrong.
These people these reporters think they are so much better than everybody else half the time. I promise you. That's why people hate the media. That's why people hate sports media. Strictly talking sports media. They hate the media in general, but sports media. Like it's because they have a very a laminated badge to walk into a press. the other thing is you and I have seen how I don't know how many fucking post game press conferences, interviews in general. How many of those questions are actually good ones? No, like,
Exactly.
bro, if there's 10 questions asked, I would say 9 of them are trash. There's maybe one good question per press conference.
Yep.
They're not even really necessary. Like what like you're just look, that's a whole other separate conversation. I don't want to get into that because I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. But like they're just like it's just there was no need for any of these people to go after this woman like that. I have not I there and I have seen and heard some absolutely bogus questions, disgusting questions, like just shit that doesn't even make sense. We've all seen them in every sport, and it's not just football. But for these people to go after this woman like that, someone who has been around for a minute, and for them to just bash her and say not the time or place, it was all just like the people who again the holier than thou complex is a real thing with these people. They all think they're better than you because they get to go ask questions to a coach.
Yeah.
And like, I trust me. Again, I'm trying to play both sides here because I went to school for it and I understand the profession. I want to do it, but like, shut up, shut up. None of you are better than anybody. I promise you, you're not. And I've read some of your articles. You're not. Like, you're just not better than everybody else. So stop. Let this woman, leave her alone. Leave Lynn Jones alone. I swear to God. Shout out to Lynn Jones, man. She took it and she was like, basically, she didn't say this out loud, but Auntie was like, "Fuck you guys. I'm gonna keep being nice to people. And if you got a problem with that, then that's your problem."
Yeah.
So I don't know. That shit really. If you followed me on Twitter, which I know a lot of people did, I got into it with a lot of these people, and I was pumped to go back and forth with them. But that shit bothered me so much, dude.
No, I agree. So, with that being said, what you got?
I'll let you go first. I need a minute to breathe.
So I have two. The first one is I appreciate all. So for anyone that doesn't know, I work with a lot of people that are in Europe. And the way that they do things in Europe and in Sweden are very different than the way they do things here. So I have different coworkers and friends that I've met over the years now, and they were all texting me probably the last 2 weeks. And then I had calls with them this whole week. They're like, "Hey, we just want to make sure you're okay. Like, just checking in on you. Is everything good there? Because we hear that so many crazy things are happening." And I just like look over my shoulder, like, I think I'm doing good. For anyone that does not realize or does not remember, we did end up doing some Mission Impossible shit and kidnapping a president. We have also decided to end up doing other things in the Caribbean and the Atlantic Ocean and stuff. So, of course, people in Sweden and these neutral countries are going to say, "What's going on there?" Because it's the craziest shit in the world. So it's just funny because I'm telling them, I mean, yeah, I'm fine. But they think it's happening in our backyard. When, for anyone that doesn't know, we don't really fight on our own land. We fight on other people's land.
Facts.
Not,
Facts.
not really going to dive too much deeper into that. But the last time something like crazy happened on our land, we still bring it up to this very day. And I'm not talking about Pearl Harbor. I'm talking about September. So we'll just leave it at that.
Right.
It hasn't happened again since then.
Right.
We just do things internally to ourselves like schools, and we'll leave it at that part. But the other one I want to bring up is probably even crazier. We're going to say shout out to Stephen A. Smith for his wild comment that
Okay, keep going. I want to hear this.
For his wild comment that he ended up saying, because he was talking about the homie that is a wide receiver for the Houston Texans. Not going to say the name, but it's my name and Kirk. So you can probably think,
oh yeah, wild, bro, wild slip up. Yeah, okay, keep going.
So for anyone that doesn't know, he made that slip up on live TV. So that was, of course, something he had to go back and apologize for and stuff. But you getting the two names confused is just insane in itself.
Jeez.
So a lot of people on Twitter were saying, "Oh, he's done soon. Like, this can only last for so much longer if he's making slip ups like that." But yeah, that was the main things I end up having. Of course, I want to say thank you to everybody that's continued to tune in. We had 20 people at one point on the show again today. We've seen a lot more people tune in on Spotify. I've started to notice it. And then we are at 1.5 views on a decent 1.5 thousand views on a decent amount of our shorts as well. What do you have?
Shout out to Mike Tomlin, man. I need to give my
Shout out.
T his flowers because the similarities between the Steelers situation and the Penn State situation are pretty close. It was time, like to move up. You got to move on sometimes, and the Steelers had to do so. But that is not to take away anything that Mike Tomlin did. 19 straight winning seasons. If I hear that one more time, I'm gonna, I'll be glad to not hear it again. But 19 straight winning seasons. Just the success just wasn't what it maybe should have been. He had Ben, AB, and Le'Veon Bell in their prime, and we only got one AFC title game to show for it. But on the flip side, over the last 6 years, whatever it's been, he's taken an old ass Ben Roethlisberger, an old ass Aaron Rodgers, an older Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, and Justin Fields, with Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, taking these guys to the playoffs and winning games. I know he's not winning the playoffs, but there is something to say for winning games with that. And it seemed like there was always an injury. The defense is getting older. So, it's tough to play both sides because there should have been a lot more success in terms of the playoffs. And we haven't won a playoff game since 2017. That was before I had kids, which is crazy. But shout out to my T. You and I have watched a lot of football, watched a lot of sports over the years. And I don't know if I'm saying this because I'm a Steelers fan and because that's my squad. But I've talked to Jay Hill about this. I've talked to other countless people that are not Steelers fans. You've heard it all the time from people who did not play for Tomlin, that did play for Tomlin. I've never heard a bad word about this man.
No.
Not a single negative thing has ever been said about Mike Tomlin. Players love him. That's why Rodgers went to the Steelers. That's a lot of reason why DK Metcalf is there. That's why guys stuck around the Steelers. That's why free agents came to the Steelers. They wanted to, play for Mike Tomlin. It's, again, it's one of those unfortunate things. You want to see him because I appreciate Mike Tomlin, appreciate all the success that we've gotten. But again, things got changed along the way. It was the same thing with Penn State. Appreciate James Franklin, but at some point you got to realize that maybe that guy's holding his back. So shout out to Mike Tomlin, dude. Shout out to Coach T. Again, never heard a bad thing about him, but we'll see what the Steelers do. Not sure what the quarterback's going to be like. Cap space is booty cheeks. We're going to be drafting in the 20th, in the low 20s. Got an old defense. So, this isn't an ideal landing spot. Maybe like Baltimore is. But the franchise is obviously probably one of the 2 or 3 most respected franchises in North American sports.
History.
In terms of the loyalty. I mean, 3 coaches since the early 70s is crazy. It's tough to do in sports and professional sports. So it's unfortunate, but shout out to my team, man.
Shout out. So that's all we got this week. We appreciate you all as always. Fuck the Jags. And until next time, we out.
Peace.